Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jen Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast today. Thanks for coming. We're here to motivate, inspire you, and educate you, as always, to make your life better. Hey, Jen, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How is everyone today?
So we're going to learn about our nutrition today. I've changed the way I've eaten. I don't know if it's because I'm just getting older and my stomach doesn't want to tolerate the things that it used to tolerate anymore. I am missing a lot of things that I used to really enjoy in my life. I don't know about you. I don't know if it's that our food's becoming too processed, that it's screwing up our intestines or what. But we have an expert, Cassidy Gundersen, with us today, and she knows all about this nutrition. She has changed the way her life is. She's changing other people's lives with the way she looks at nutrition, which is a totally different way than most people do. So I can't wait to learn more from her and really make all of our lives better. Because, you know, when you feel better, and you have more energy, you're more productive, your whole life is more vibrant when you feel better and I look at it as I'm a car, I'm an operating machine. If I'm not operating at maximum capacity, I'm missing out on my life. So let's go. Let's have a great life. Let's learn about this. Thanks, Cassidy, for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Cassidy, tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got into becoming a doctor and getting into nutrition.
Yeah, I grew up probably on the worst diet possible. Like when we talk about nutrition, it's still when my childhood friends contact me or see me on social media or whatever, they're always like, oh, you of all people are the last person I thought would be doing this, because I grew up like, I remember the first time I had asparagus was when I was married. And like, first time I had like an avocado was like the first year of marriage. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had a mango when I was 22 for the first time. And I was like, this is incredible. I grew up eating the Hostess diet, I say. I lived on Hostess snacks. I lived on processed. I did not have a single fruit and vegetable unless it was fried, right? So I grew up eating pretty horribly and I suffered for it. I got my first kidney stone at age 13. And I had kidney stones chronically every couple of months for 12 years.
Wow.
And that was the beginning. And then I started I got older, I got my period and it was like horrible. I had some kind of endometriosis or PCOS or something like that. And then as I got older, it just kept adding on. So by the time I was 20, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and it changed my life. I was like, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do a lot of things. And I was a highly motivated person. I was always like the top of the class. I was Miss Idaho. I was Miss Teen Idaho. I did American Idol. I was like, I wanted to go. And my body was like, nope, we're done. So it just affected every part of my life. I couldn't do all the things I wanted to. And I was trying really hard, but I was so sick. So Crohn's disease was really the big wake up call. I'd had all these little things for most of my life. Crohn's disease was the big wake up call. And that scared me to death. And I remember, so I didn't just have Crohn's disease. I got Crohn's disease, the diagnosis first. And then over the next year and a half, I ended up with multiple diagnoses. So overall, I had 13 different health diagnoses.
Wow.
And the doctor told me, by this time I had just gotten married, and the doctor told me I was going to die. He told me there's not much more we can do. Every single time you come in, we're adding a new autoimmune disease. Your body is giving out on you. We're trying all these things. It's not working. And so I suggest you and your husband don't have any kids. We don't know how long you'll be around. Kind of get your affairs in order and let's just keep monitoring. And I was like, oh my gosh. And around that same time, my gastroenterologist for Crohn's disease, I was like, okay, I just want to get better. Tell me what to do. What should I eat? Like, what kind of food affects it? And he said, oh, food does not affect Crohn's disease at all, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. So it's intense. Your bowels are on fire. And he was telling me that food didn't affect it at all. And I remember between the doctor being like, sorry, there's nothing more we can do. You're going to die. And the gastroenterologist saying food will not affect your digestion at all. I was like, this is not, that doesn't make sense to me. I feel like I don't know anything about nutrition. Like I'm living on junk, but I feel like what I eat should affect my digestion. It just kind of makes sense. So I started studying. So my road started with just studying. I just went full first Pinterest, was like anything I could get my hand on, like healthy food, how to be healthier, better digestion. And I was reading articles, and then I started reading every book I could find from a doctor about nutrition. And I fell in love with nutrition. I loved it. I thought it was incredible. So I decided with my husband, I was like, okay, I want to go back to school. So I went back to school to get my master's degree and my PhD in health and nutrition. I loved it. I fell in love with it. It was like this whole new world. I didn't know anything. I was so embarrassed when I started because people knew so much more than me. I was like, I didn't know that there was like proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. I had no nutrition knowledge. It was like a big, like I just jumped in deep to get a PhD in nutrition. So I started the program, and it became very apparent to me that there is obviously better ways to eat. And there are things that affect us. So I created a plan for myself, and I was like very regimented. I was like, hey, I'm just going to flip everything, and we're just going to go all in on this. I went all in on my plan. And within 6 months, all of my blood work came back completely clear and clean. I was like, they even told me, they're like, oh, we must have misdiagnosed you. There's no sign of the disease, no sign of Crohn's disease, no sign of anything. And I was like the healthiest I'd ever been in my life. And it was just incredible. So I get my doctorate, and I was able to reverse all these diseases. I was feeling amazing. So I wanted to start a practice a little bit different than what anybody else would do. I didn't just want to do general nutrition and stuff. So I just on Facebook was like, hey, I'm going to do a free group coaching. I want people to come in. So I had a big group that started off with me of just like friends and family that I knew, about 20 people. From there, I did my free group, and they just started telling people, and they started telling people, and they started telling people. And before long, I was not even done with my master's degree yet, but I had this full schedule of people that were like, this works. Because it's just simple. It wasn't all this complicated stuff. It was so simple. And so it just grew. And then all of a sudden, everything grew. I wrote a couple of books that became bestsellers on Amazon. I started traveling around the world and speaking in conferences and all these different things. And it just resonated with people the same way that it did with me so quickly. And so I've now seen thousands of people go from like horrible health problems, nobody knows what to do, to feeling amazing. And so I love nutrition. I love food, because it took me from like, I'm about to die, to I have so much energy. If I like forget to exercise, I have too much energy and can't go to sleep. So it's incredible. And I just want that for everybody. And so I just love nutrition and everything that comes with it. And my journey has just been so blessed. And that's what I love sharing with other people.
I love that. I so relate to you you said you hadn't tried a mango until you were like 22. So I think I was 19 or something when I tried my first mango, because I went to Hawaii. My sister was there with her husband that was in the Navy, and she had a mango tree. So we had all these mangoes, and I couldn't believe I'd never had one before. But like you, growing up in just middle America, Idaho, Wyoming, that's where I grew up, is Wyoming, probably near where you lived in Idaho. And yeah, like you just didn't have that. Now there's a lot more imports, exports, where there's more fruit available and vegetables available to everybody everywhere. But I would say you're right on with mainstream America. We just eat box stuff, right? Macaroni and cheese, pasta, whatever, roni, like whatever's in the box is what your mom made you growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Where's the first place we should start, Cassidy? Okay, I know I don't eat right. I know I'm eating box everything. And like, I have one son who he would always have these different problems. My stomach's upset. This is upset. Now he's totally changed his diet, been working out like crazy. Mom, all those problems I had before are gone. Like, I can't believe that they're gone. Then I have another son who he's struggling with his weight and fitness, and he doesn't want to embrace this other lifestyle. And I keep saying, what would it be like to have more energy? I just don't get it. I don't think, because he's never had the more energy.
Yeah.
Where do you start? Like, what's step 1, step 2, step 3 to get someone kickstarted in your program?
Yeah, I will say I've had a lot of people come to me and they've started the program, and they'll say in all earnesty, I would rather have McDonald's every day and be on my meds than be disciplined with my food. And that's okay, because that's a personal choice. For me, I want to have the most fulfilling life, and I have so many other things I want to do in the day. So it's worth it for me to say no. It's worth it for me to self-sacrifice so that I can have that. And other people may not feel the same way. They may prefer having like food is their either their drug of choice, or they just love it and they're a foodie and they're like, no, really, I would rather have the tastes and I'd rather have that joy than somewhere else. So it's not for everybody. Healthy eating is really not for everybody. It should be, like I want it to be, but it's not. And so the first step I say is determining, you know, where you're at, if that's what you want. And if it's what you want, then that's like most of the problem. And the next step I tell people, eat real foods, mostly plants, and eat them in their whole form as close to their natural state as possible. We eat real food. I feel like the biggest thing for people is making swaps, healthy swaps. So it's not just like depriving yourself and being like, oh, I'm never having that again. Let's try, first of all, just making a homemade macaroni that's a little bit healthier. Let's add some fruits and vegetables, and let's do it with carrots. Let's do it with some other things. And we want to focus on plants because the healing power is in plants. It has been for thousands of years. Every single civilization knows that. And not only that, but now today we're blessed to have the peer-reviewed studies to back it up, because for the first time in history, we have tons of studies going on. And I could just point to study after study that shows it's the plants that heal. They even does studies on things like bone broth. A lot of people think bone broth is really healing and healthy, but they actually did a study where they only did the bone broth without any vegetables, and they found it had no benefit. And they did it with vegetables and they found that it had benefit. We're looking at the difference of adding in more plants into our diet. The easiest way for people to do that is fruit. Nobody inherently loves vegetables. You have to be like, I'll get myself a salad or whatever, but nobody's just like dying to eat more peas or carrots. So generally speaking, I tell people focus on fruit. We have a sweet tooth for a reason. Every human being is born naturally liking sweet things. It's in part because we had our mother's milk, which was sweet. So from the time we're born, we have this, it's the naturally occurring sweet, carbohydrates. Our body needs carbohydrates. Every cell in our body runs on carbohydrates, including our brain, which can only run on carbohydrates. So carbs are the most important thing. And now that's where we differentiate, because we hear carbs thrown around a lot. Donuts and pizza are also carbs, right? And we don't want those ones. Fruit is the best thing. It fills our sweet tooth. It's filling and has plenty of calories to keep us full, but they're easily digested, so it doesn't lead to fat. In fact, most people are scared of fruit. They try to limit their fruit intake for diabetes purposes or blood sugar or whatever, but the studies show that it's the one thing that can reverse diabetes. It reverses even late stage diabetes by doing fruit. So fruit is like our best friend. We fill up all the time. It's nature's fast food. Eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Fruit is our best friend. And then we just find ways to swap. Maybe we add a handful of greens in our smoothie. Maybe we're trying to add just a couple more chopped vegetables in our spaghetti. Whatever we can do to increase fruit and vegetable intake. The more fruits and vegetables you have, the healthier you will be. And so that's really the beginning. Once you get over the hurdle of, do I actually want this? We start making the swaps to real healthy fruits and vegetables. And starting there is just like, some people, that's all they have to do is just make a couple swaps, add a couple things, and they feel great. Others of us who have maybe a diagnosed health condition, you have hypothyroidism, you've got diabetes, heart disease, you got to go a little more extreme. You don't really have the freedom anymore to do it. If you're wanting to reverse something like that, which can be reversed, which is incredible, but those things can be reversed. It just has to be a lot. You have to go all in on those kinds of things.
So what would you say the second step is? Do you have a way for someone to maybe transform their pantry or anything like that? What would be the second steps to staying on that nutritional path and not eating the donuts and the pizza?
Yeah. So when I tell people, just stop, that easy. For the most part, I tell people find healthier swaps. Begin with, unless we're trying to reverse a disease, and which is again a totally different ballgame where we have to go all in. We do intense stuff. The general person who wants to get healthier, you're going to find a healthier alternative. I tell people, and I wish I had something here, when you're looking at a box, I don't care about the nutrition facts at all. I don't care what the fat, the carbs, the protein, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is the ingredients list. Do you know every single ingredient on there? What people don't know a lot of times is something like citric acid is put in there. Citric acid sounds like great and normal, but it's from a black mold spore. It's black mold that they're putting in. So little things like a can of tomatoes, right? You're going to make some spaghetti or a soup and you grab a can of diced tomatoes. Most of them have absorbic acid or citric acid added in. So I'm just going to turn around a couple of cans until I find the one that doesn't, that just says tomatoes. So one of the easy things you can do from the get-go is read every label just for the ingredients. If it's a real food, your body can process it and eat it. It's when we get the additives and the preservatives, even things like hash browns, turn it around. You're going to find the one, most of them have junk added in. So we just want the real food. And as we kind of slowly transition those normal things you're getting, read the label, make sure it's just real ingredients. You can start to transition your pantry little by little.
I like that.
And so a lot of times that even looks like things like instead of buying a pancake mix, I just have a good pancake recipe that is really quick and easy. And I make a jar of it and it sits there as my pancake mix. A couple things like that. But I tell people start off slow and simple. If you're wanting to make a lifestyle change, which is different than a fad diet, because I don't like doing this all in. I'm just going to throw everything away. I'm going to hurry and go. And then people feel like junk and then they can't do it. They're not used to it. Their family doesn't support them. And then a couple weeks later, they're done. And so we do small, sustainable changes. When you run out of something, I'm not going to have you throw away what's in your cupboard right now. I'm going to have you, when you run out, you're going to go get the baking powder that doesn't have aluminum in it. That's one step, right? When you run out, you're going to buy your canned goods that have nothing but the real ingredient in it. Those are small, simple changes you can do. And then in your fridge, you're just going to start to buy the produce, right? And focus on that produce. The more raw living food you can have, the better. The easier it is to digest. So many benefits. You have enzymes in there, biophotons, things that we've never even heard of in school or nutrition, right? And so small things like that, like just knowing my snacks this week, I'm going to pick up grapes. I'm going to pick up apples and have them sitting there ready. So those are the small incremental changes. Keep what you're doing and just start to add more plants to it. Slowly transition or there's a ton of recipe websites now. So go on and find maybe 1 or 2 plant-based recipes you can do every week that you wouldn't have thought of, right? Not transitioning everything. You're not upsetting your whole life, but go look for a plant-based recipe that you wouldn't have tried. An easy pancake recipe that's all plant-based or whatever.
Yeah, I love that you said earlier about just trying to think of the raw living food or the raw. If you're going to make spaghetti sauce, like why not just buy nice ripe tomatoes and put them in instead of buying a can?
Yeah.
Or the thing about the ingredient list, I just heard someone telling me that the ingredients, if you look on Lucky Charms, that one of the ingredients in there is something you can buy at Home Depot that's a cleaner for your garage cement floor. And it's like the 4th or 3rd ingredient of Lucky Charms. It's like, okay, that's a lot of like poison that's meant for cleaning cement, that it says poison on at Home Depot. The little thing you can buy to clean your cement says poison, and it's this specific phosphorus stuff. I can't remember the name. But it's like the 3rd ingredient in Lucky Charms.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we allow more of that kind of stuff in America than in any other country. So we have to be more cognizant. Where in other countries, generally speaking, you can buy more of the stuff. In America, we have to be better about the ingredients. So that's my rule. If you look at the ingredients and you can't pronounce it or don't know what something is, don't buy it.
But even as simple as, so I've gone through the process of using Viome and getting what I should be eating. I did another blood analysis and they were saying that my DNA shows that I don't process folic acid, and folic acid is like everything. And your vitamins almost every vitamin has folic acid in it. So it's, how do I find a vitamin without folic acid?
Right.
And I didn't even know that existed before. Really dialing in, it's like biohacking your body too, of knowing what, like you think, oh, it's in a vitamin, folic acid should be good. So you almost have to get to know your body too specifically to try and hone that in as well. So do you recommend that too?
Yes, absolutely. Each person is different. Even in my family, like my kids, we all eat very similar, right? I'm making the same things. They've never had sugar before. We eat really healthy, but each person eats a little bit different. They have different tolerances for different kinds of things. The key there is when you eat real foods though, right? Because folic acid is man-made. That's made in a laboratory, but folate is naturally occurring in every green food we have. So we want the folate. So when we naturally, biohacking, I think, can happen naturally when we eschew the the man-made stuff, the synthetics, and we just eat natural, a lot of times we bypass a lot of those little things. Like you say, you didn't know how, you had no idea. And so eating the more natural foods can help us do that. But I say we need to listen to our body, because different people can handle different things. My husband can eat way higher fat than I can. I just eat really low fat, and he can handle more. He eats about 20% fat. I'm eating about 7% fat.
What do you think about MCT oil?
For what in particular? Because just like in general,
adding it to your diet is, what is it? It's like MCT oil is condensed of the coconut oil.
I think they put it in their coffee, like bulletproof coffee, MCT oil.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good. It's like a really healthy
you
fat.
mean just like taking it in general?
Yeah, taking it in general.
Okay.
Your
So
opinion.
that gets into the question of how much carbohydrates, fats, and proteins we should have. And in comes my belief, especially when we're dealing with disease, that the lower fat we eat, the better. Our body needs fat to process, but it can utilize very little fat for a lot. The problem comes in fat, and then you start to get into a really complicated discussion of omega-3s and omega-6s and their ratio that they need to be eaten at and that kind of thing. But fats are very important for many functions, but our body only needs, the studies show, about 5 to 10% of our daily caloric intake to be a fat to produce those results. And so what's happened is I've seen a lot of people over the last probably about 20 years, we've really gone on this oil. People really love their oils, like a really good olive oil.
Yeah, I've heard of people that are doing an olive oil fast or olive oil fad diet, where they're basically taking 2 tablespoons of olive oil every single day, and they're not even putting it on their food. They're just swigging it.
Just
I'm
eating
like,
it.
what?
Yeah, fish oil, all that. Yeah.
So there's an argument to be made that obviously if we're going to do oil, I want you to stay away from the seed oils. I want you to stay away from the vegetable oils, that kind of thing. These oils are far superior. We want to go for an olive oil, extra virgin, double cold pressed organic olive oil. The studies show that most olive oils on the market are contaminated and found over 9 different oils in them. Again, when we're looking at health, it becomes so complicated because we're not getting pure foods anymore, right? I can't just say, go get olive oil, because most of them tested on the market aren't that. So we get a double cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, and we get like a really good quality coconut oil. They're better quality. On the whole, though, we don't need those. We do not need those day to day. And if people choose to put some on their salad dressing occasionally or that kind of thing, totally fine. The number 1 killer in the United States is heart disease. It's going to kill 50% of everyone in the United States. And we all probably know somebody who's either died or has heart disease in a various form. And what studies have found is the number 1 thing adding to that is oils and dairy products. It's the high fat items. So when we're looking at preventative measures and things that we can do for our health, taking those down as much as we can in our diet and focusing on the healing foods is the best thing that we could do.
Should we be taking like my doctor is telling me, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's like this the only fish oil he believes in that I should be taking every single day. So should I be taking that if I'm eating an avocado that day and I'm having something else that has high, like maybe I have a piece of salmon, should I be taking that as well? Or is that too much?
You know what? I've actually found this is really interesting. A lot of people don't understand we need omega-6s and we need omega-3s. Omega-6s are found in our foods. And so we have lots of omega-6s, and we need omega-3s at a 1-to-1 ratio. They need to be the same. The problem is in almost every diet, we've got omega-6s up here and omega-3s down here. So we need to decrease our omega-6s, which means decreasing meat products and processed products. And we need to increase our omega-3s so that they meet at a 1-to-1 ratio. The best foods on the planet for doing that, the studies have shown, are flax, hemp, and chia. They outperform fish oil in studies for anti-inflammatory effects and our omegas that can be assimilated by the body. And so I have had a number of people switch from fish oil to flax, hemp, or chia, and they've been like, what a difference. Way cheaper. It's way easier for people to just throw in here and there. And you don't have the weird burps afterwards.
Yeah, and just putting it in your smoothie or on your oatmeal or something.
Or in a salad. It's super easy. Hemp hearts on top or something like that. And you get that 1-to-1 ratio that your body needs that you can assimilate more of. So I found that and the studies show that it outperforms fish oil. And I've seen that in my clinic too, that people have better results.
Love that. All right, we're running out of time here. Tell us where we can reach you.
Absolutely. So there's a number of courses that I have for free and I'd love to offer for free anybody listening. It's how to love your food. And how to redefine that relationship with your food, a free course on my website, which is spirohealthandwellness.com. It's SPIRO health, HEALTHANDWELNESS.com. So spirohealthandwellness.com. You can take my free course on how to love your food. I've got everything on there. I'll do a free consultation with anybody who'd like to chat. We can talk about how I might be able to help. There's a lot of courses. I've got my cookbook on there. So feel free to reach out on Spiro Health and Wellness and we'll chat there.
Awesome. We'll put that link up in the show notes and people can go and reach out to Cassidy there and hire her for her free consultation or take her free course.
Terrific. Thanks for joining us today. And we hope I got a bunch of notes on this. So I'm excited. I learned a lot. And if you're thinking about writing a book, make sure you reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. We guarantee you'll be a #1 bestseller. We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.